So welcome everyone for the third session of the first day of the interactive virtual craft fair, Handmade Chelsea Online. Today we have Paula Eastman from Pippin Scott Leather Bags. And today she'll be going through 7 steps of her design process. And as you can see, beautiful bags at the back. Here you go.
Okay, thank you very much. Thanks, Paris. Hello and welcome. Well, that little interlude's done nothing for my nose, everybody. But anyway, I hope you are all sat at home comfortably with a cup of tea, or even better, a glass of Prosecco. So today I'm going to talk you through the 7 stages that I use to get myself from a concept of an idea right through to the creations you see behind you here. So for me, I'm a very keen gardener, and I just love to draw inspiration from my gardening. I spend a lot of time planting bulbs. I'm sure we're all about doing that this time of year. So for me, I find spring is my favourite time of year because I just love that we're all waiting and hanging on for those first snowdrops and the daffodils and then the tulips to come up, and just that nature gives us that incredible riot of colour, you know, these wonderful colour combinations. And she doesn't care, you know, if things don't, what we would call go together or combine. She just does it anyway. And that to me is so inspirational. So as you can probably tell from over my shoulder, I love a bit of colour, and the brighter the better. But I also think, you know, if you like something a little bit more, you know, conservative, like this lovely tan number, what's wrong with having a really vivid colour inside that's just for you and really kind of lifts your day when you open your bag up. So that's a big one for me. I also love a home show, you know, when people are ripping down walls or showing you the inside of their houses and what they're doing to them. I love all of that. So I find it kind of interesting that we all live in cubes, essentially, don't we? You know, with all very straight lines, but every now and then someone will pop in an arch, and that will soften the room. Or if somebody does a feature wall, I mean, we all love a feature wall, don't we? Especially in this country, or a really strong wallpaper, and that just changes the vibe and the light and the feel of the room. And that's something that I really hope that you can see that I draw into my bag making. I love a solid structure, and I really like kind of the rigidity, you know, like you get in your straight lines in a building. But then I just love the way, you know, I'll just use one of these as an example, that you can then create such a soft curve like here against the rigidity of the side walls, and just a lovely soft line of the flat that just changes the whole feel rather than doing a sharp line. So hopefully when you go on and look at all of my bags later, that you can see where I draw that inspiration from. And I'm always carrying a sketchbook with me, so I'll just show you very quickly. This is the kind of thing I do. I just sketch out a basic idea. And then, you know, we might do different variations. What's the front going to look like? What kind of side gusset am I going to use? And then that brings us basically to the next stage, which is number 2. And that is breaking down the basic idea and the sketches into a pattern. So what pattern pieces am I going to need? So you can see here that the bag I just showed you, the little blue one, that's all of the pattern pieces I'll need. There's 24 pattern pieces, would you believe? So that's including all the outer shell, the linings. You've got to remember all of your pockets and zips and bits and bobs. So that all goes in. And so once you kind of translate that information from the sketchbook onto your card, you're then beginning to create your pattern. So you're putting all the information on there that you're going to need to know later. So, you know, how wide is the bag going to be? You know, what size bag am I making? So I tend to make all of my patterns up on lovely card like this. So it's quite thick. So when we put that on the leather, we draw around it with an awl. So that won't then lose its shape. It won't, you know, distort. So once we're cutting, you know, we're not going to lose the actual shape. So you can see there's an awful lot of information on all of these little bits of card pattern here. And so that becomes my Bible, sort of all of my information for later. And whilst we're cutting them the pattern out, we also cut exactly the same again, and that becomes what's known as a cardboard maquette. And a maquette is basically your first go at making up the bag. So this is the maquette of the bag I just showed you. So it's got all of the bits, so even down to your little strap keepers and your rivets. I tend to use all of the pieces, all of the hardware that I use, so all the Chicago screws, even the closure I'm going to use, because I want to know exactly how it sits, if it's going to shut properly. Even got the zip in just to check that that's all the right length. Got my little flap here, and then you've got your little pocket in there. So that kind of gives us all the information that we need for our pattern. And at this stage, if we create that, and I don't like what's going on, if I think, oh, I quite like the flap to be a little bit higher or a little bit lower, or the strap to be longer, I'd like to add a pocket, I'd like to take a pocket away, that might happen more than once. So it might be that there's more than one maquette being made, and you know, that kind of will go in rotation until I get a point where I like the look of that cardboard maquette. So once that's done, any information that's changed will then go back onto the pattern pieces. And it might be that I need to recut the pattern pieces as well, depending how dramatic the changes are, and you know, how the design has evolved. You know, it's one thing to draw it on paper, but it's quite another seeing it in life and in the flesh. So once I've made up my maquette and I'm happy, we then get to the fun bit. We then get to prototyping. And prototyping is, it can be two sort of stages. You can either make your bag out of a split of leather, which is a really cheap way of doing it. You know, you're just using a nasty kind of split of the leather that no one wants, and that will kind of tell you how your bag is going to look. Or you can use the actual leather, which I tend to do a lot of the time, unless I'm making a very large bag, because it gives me a real feeling of how the bag is going to look. You know, it's got its final suede lining or wool lining. I'm using all of the correct hardware. So then I would turn out something, and this is one of my first prototypes of this bag. So you can see I've gone from the final product, which I just showed you, having a lovely long shoulder strap. This one's just got a little wrist strap on it. It's also got a little pocket on the back. And one of the mistakes that I found when I sent this off to testing is that these curled up. So we didn't like that. So I then moved on. I thought, right, I'm going to put two poppers on. That resolves that problem. And I sent that out. And then we decided after chatting that we just didn't like that either. And so I was like, right, okay, we're just going to go and we're going to have a very simple back, no pocket for people to fight with when it's against their side. And that is the final product. So I've kind of jumped ahead a little bit there. So when I'm prototyping, there are no shortcuts. You are making the bag as if you would make it as a final piece. You know, any edges that need to be skived and thinned so that they stitch together, you know, nicely. Everything's hand stitched. I won't be whizzing it under the machine for quick and ease, because I want to see how that's going to look and how it's going to fit together using the skills and the traditional skills that I've learned, and how that's going to take the bag forward. So once I've got all my samples done, and I might turn out more than one. I might do one with a wrist strap, one with a shoulder strap, one with a pocket, one without a pocket. And then I get to phoning my friends and family, and they are now used to these phone calls, and they are used to having bags shoved at them to try. So they take my bags out into the big wide world. Not so much at the moment, because there's not much world to go out in, is there? But hopefully soon, vaccine, yay! They will take them out and they will give them a good battering, and they will use them as if they were using any other bag. And then they will come back and they will give me feedback. And that is stage 6 for me, feedback. So this is, as I was talking through a moment ago with the pockets, jumping forward, if somebody doesn't like something on a design, it could just be personal, or it could be very, very beneficial to me, because they're telling me that something isn't working practically for them. And that is invaluable. And so I will take all of this information on, and then I will test the bag myself, because it's really important to me that all the improvements are made before they hit my website or Handmade in Britain event, that I'm giving you the best products that I can. I know that everything's working properly. I know that I've got the best leather, all of the best component parts, and providing you with a really truly unique bag. So once I've tried it and then discovered all the things that maybe I don't like or love about the bag, we will then go back, possibly even to stage 2, and I will recut a pattern, and I will recut the maquette, and I will redo all of that. And again, this process can, you know, sometimes you kind of get your idea and a week later you're just like, right, great, I've got my sample, you know, and off we go, and I'm so happy and pleased with it. And other times I've been working on bags. I think the first bag I ever came up with the idea for was a big north-south tote, and I'm still working on that today. I've literally just been wrestling bag feet on it before I came on to chat to you. And this is possibly the 5th maquette of this bag. So that's been sort of 3 years in the tweaking, in the making, before I'm really happy with the final product. I think I'm there now, so look out for that one. That'll be coming up soon, hopefully. So then we get to the good bit. It's the final design. So number 7 is when I just get to lay all of my colours out and draw all of that inspiration right from the beginning in nature, and put all of my colour combinations together and go, what does this bag say? You know, what do I want this bag to be? What situation do I see this bag in? Is it a bag to hold your gym kit? Is it something that you're going to take going to a gig or to the theatre? You know, and how do I represent that with the colours? How do I, you know, is it a playful bag? Is it a serious bag? Is it something that you're going to be taking to the office with you? And hopefully that I can get that reflected out in the colours. And I just think, having a good colour combo, there's nothing quite like it, is there? So if anyone's got any questions they'd like to throw at me now, that would be great. I'd be happy to answer them. I don't know if Parush can talk to me now I've been made host. Hopefully he can.
Actually, you need to make me the host again, so that.
Oh, how do I do that?
Something going on probably here.
Okay, hold on.
But anyways, thank you so much. Actually, it was so wonderful to see the colors and everything, the amount of work it goes into your, you know, making a one bag. You know, a lot of people.
It's a lot of work. It's amazing how sometimes they come together really quickly, and other times, you know, you just keep looking at it going, oh, actually, I just prefer to do that, and I'm just going to tweak that. And, you know, suddenly, however many months down the line, you're still creating, you know, something from that first inspiration.
Yes. You know, I think one thing which I would like to know is the price points of your bags.
Yeah, absolutely. So the smaller bags, so my small little gadabouts here, they start at £350. Well, they are £350. And you get a lovely veg tan leather for that. You've got all your little pockets and your little zips. I'll show you that. Oh, handy for your keys and your money. Don't want all of that falling out whilst you're dancing on the dance floor, do you? A nice suede lining, somewhere for your cards to go. So that's quite a nice little safe little bag there. And then we get up to the larger gadabouts here, and I think, oh, I'm going to have to ask my husband now because I keep forgetting. I think these are 475, aren't they? I think 475 for the larger bag. And these are quite substantially bigger. I can show you how much bigger. It's like the big sister of this one. We see next to each other just how much bigger that is. And you get a great load of space in here. And there's a little pocket there for your Kindle or your iPad. Oh, I should be branding, sorry. And a nice big pocket there. Can you see that? All lovely, lined with colourful suede.
We have a question.
Yeah.
So what's the shiny fabric on the purple and the yellow one? Is that still the leather?
Here.
Yeah, the purple. Yes,
Oh,
the
this
purple,
one.
yeah.
Yeah.
Both of them.
I'm going to reveal all of the CDs holding these up now. You do know that, don't you? So that's a metallic leather underlay. So that is leather under there. It's like a very thin goat skin. So you've got your vegetable, 2 different colours of vegetable tan, and then your metallic underneath. And then on the inside, you've also got your lovely colour. And then a really zany suede lining. And these come with a little handle as well. So you can either have it as a clutch or you can have it as a little wrist sort of holdy bag. So I have lots of different metallics and there are many more available. Any other questions coming in?
I think there's one last question because we are running out of time. Is what's the
Okay.
hard cardboard called? Is there a special name? You talked about this hard cardboard.
The cardboard, no, it's a pattern cutting card that you can buy from, I guess, stockists that, you know, like haberdashers, that's the word I'm looking for. It's just a heavyweight card and I buy it on a massive roll, which is huge. It's not quite as tall as me, but it's pretty tall. So it allows me to cut really big pattern pieces if I need to.